Hello students. So let's begin with the problem of the proportion. So here I have taken the next sum. Problem number 13 it is. Question is, if 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys can do a piece of work in 81 days working 8 hours a day, in how many days will 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys do two-thirds of the work working 1 hour overtime, assuming that their working capacity of doing the work to be in the ratio of 3:2:1. Yeah. So this is the question, and they have asked to calculate, right? How many days, right? In how many days will 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys do, right? How much it is? Two-thirds of the work working 1 hour overtime. Working 1 hour overtime is working 1 hour extra. Means previously this group used to work for how many? It is 8 hours, right? So now if this group works 1 hour overtime, means 1 hour extra, means how many hours? 9 hours. So how many days are required that they have asked? If their working capacity of doing the work to be in the ratio of what it is, 3:2:1. So here they have given the capacity of doing the work of a man, of a woman and a boy. So here in the first group, there is a first group, right? So first group consists what it is, 5 men, then it is what, 10 women and it is 30 boys are there. This is a group. So all are working, right, to do a work. So as I told in the previous class also, total one work is numerically is denoted by what it is 1. So what is will be that work? That work is assumed to be it is 1. So this group can complete full one work. Working how many hours? Working 8 hours, right? Working 8 hours. How many days they take? 81 days they take. Means if this group works, right, together to complete full one work working 8 hours, how many days they take? 81 days they take. And what question they have asked? They have asked to calculate how many days are required for 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys. Means there is a next group, and in that group there are 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys are there. So to complete how much work they are saying? To complete it is two-thirds of the work working 1 hour overtime. Working 1 hour overtime is working 1 hour extra, right? Means previously this previous group used to work for 8 hours. Now if this group is working 1 hour extra, means how many hours? 9 hours. How many days are required that they have asked? Yeah, this is the question. So if you put the equation like this, right? For 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys to do full one work working 8 hours if 81 days are required, and we have to calculate for 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys to do only two-thirds of the work working 9 hours daily, right? How many days are required? So like this we put the equation. If you go to compare, right, like this we put the equation, and what we do one by one we compare and we see whether each relationship involves direct or inverse. But if you go to compare this group, now here they are not working individually. 5 men, right, 10 women or 30 boys, they are not working separately here. They are working together. So this is a one group, right? So for 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys, it takes how many days? 81 days. 81 days, they are not the days required for only 5 men or only 10 women or it is 30 boys, remember, right? These are the days required for all these three, right? For 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys. So if you go to compare directly this group with the number of days, it is not possible, because their capacities are, capacity of doing the work of each is different here. Capacity of doing the work of man, if you compare with it is women and boys, definitely it is more. If you compare women with boys, women's capacity is more than boys' capacity, like that. So here This is the reason as to why we cannot compare directly with the number of days here. We cannot judge correctly whether more days are required or less days are required. If you go to compare for 5 men, 10 men, 30 boys, if 81 days are required, then how many days it will take for these 10 men, 10 men, 10 boys, more or less? We cannot judge correctly because in this group only 5 men are there. In this group 5 men have increased. It's totally how many? 10 men are working. So capacity in isolated will increase. Here 10 women there, here also 10 women are there, capacity remains same. Here 30 boys were there, but here 10 boys are working, so capacity is less here. So due to that, directly you cannot judge whether more days or less days are required. That's why they have given you this capacity of doing the work, right? They have given you, assuming that their working capacity of doing the work to be in the ratio of 3:2:1. So you have to understand what is the meaning of this 3:2:1. This is the capacity of doing the work of a man, of a woman and a boy, right? So 3:2:1. What is the meaning of this? I told in ratio while explaining in ratio. So ratio always indicates the number of times. Ratio always indicates the number of times. So 3:2:1 means what? One man, right? One man works 3 times. One woman works 2 times, and one boy works only 1 time. That is the meaning of this ratio. Yeah? One man works 3 times, one woman works 2 times, and one boy works only 1 time. So this is the capacity of doing the work of a man, of a woman, and a boy. Yeah? So what you have to do here? Here directly, if you go to compare with the number of days, comparison is not possible. So for that, what you have to do? You have to convert, means you have to find out the capacity of this whole group either in form of men or in form of women or in form of boys, right? Means if you know the capacity of this whole group in form of men or women or boys, so comparison becomes very easy. But directly if you go to compare, comparison is not possible. Understanding? So first what you have to do? First you have to convert, means you have to find out the capacity of both the groups, right? Means in place of 5 men, 10 men, 30 boys, totally how many men you have to employ, or how many women you have to employ, or how many boys you have to employ. Like that, in place of 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys also you have to find out the capacity, right? Either in form of man, woman or boys. So for that, first you have to understand the meaning of this ratio as I told. Yeah. So one man works 3 times, one woman works 2 times, and one boy works only 1 time. The meaning of this one is, if one boy works 1 time, and one woman works 2 times, means one woman do the work of 2 boys, because 1 time means it is 1 boy, alright? One boy works only 1 time, alright? And at the same time, one woman is working 2 times. So one woman is working 2 times, means 1 time is 1 boy, means 2 times means it is 2 boys, alright? And one man works 3 times, means if 1 time is equal to 1 boy, so 3 times means it is 3 boys. Means whatever ratio they have given, this is the ratio of what it is boys. This is the ratio of what it is boys. Means from this ratio, what I can understand, that is one man is equal to how many boys it is? 3 boys. Then it is one woman is equal to how many boys? 2 boys. And it is one boy is equal to 1 boy. Means one man do the work of 3 boys, one woman do the work of 2 boys, and one boy do the work of 1 boy. Yeah. So like this, from this ratio, I can find out the capacity of both the groups in form of what it is boys, because I know the capacity of men and women in form of boys here, right? So one man, if you don't want to employ one man, in that place you have to put how many boys? 3 boys. So here, suppose I don't want to employ 5 men. So in that place, how many boys I have to put, that I can find out. I want to replace men with what it is boys. So if you don't want to employ 1 man, in that you have to put how many boys? 3 boys. So if you don't want to employ 5 men, so in that how many boys you have to employ? So for that you have to put the equation. So if you don't want to employ 1 man is equal to how many boys? 3 boys. So what I want? It is 5 men. 5 men are is equal to how many boys? So 5 into 3 divided by 1. 5 into 3 is divided by 1. Means it comes to how much? It is 15. Means if you don't want to employ 5 men, in that place you have to put, means we have got the capacity of 5 men. 5 men are equal to what it is? 15 boys. Means we have got the capacity of 5 men in form of boys as 15. Means whatever time is required for 5 boys, same time is required for 15 boys. Or whatever work that 5 men can do, same work that 15 men boys also can do, because the capacity becomes now equal, right? So if you don't want to employ 5 men, in that one you have to employ 15 boys. Means in place of 5 men I can put how many? 15 boys. Like that you have to find out the capacity of 10 women in form of what it is? Boys. Because we know 1 woman is equal to how many boys? It is 2 boys. Means if you don't want to employ 1 woman, in that place you have to put 2 boys. So like that, in place of how many boys, how many women it is? 10 women. In place of 10 women, how many boys you have to employ? So 10 into 2. 10 into 2 is divided by 1. So how many it is? 20 boys you have to employ. Means if you don't want to employ 10 women, in that place you have to employ how many boys? 20 boys. And here we know 1 boy is equal to 1 boy. So in place of 1 boy you have to employ 1 boy only. So in place of it is 30 boys. How many boys you have to employ? 30 boys only. So it comes to 30. So now I can add this. So 30 plus it is 20 plus it is 15. So equal to here how much it is? 65 boys. Means whatever time is required for 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys, same time is required for how many boys? 65 boys. Because we have got the capacity of 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys is equal to how many boys? It is 65 boys. Right? So whatever time is required for this group, same time is required for 65 boys also. Right? So 60. If you don't want to employ this group, in that place if you put 65 boys, so 65 boys can do full one work, working 8 hours in how many days? 81 days. Because the capacity has become now same. Like that, in the same manner you have to find out the capacity of this group in form of what it is? Boys. So in place of 10 men, like that here. So here you have to take here 10 men. 10 men means here you have to take it is 10. 10 into 3, 30. Means in place of 10 you have to employ 30 boys. Then in place of 10 women we have to put 20 boys, and in place of 10 boys we have to put 10 boys only. So total number of boys becomes it is what? 60. So in place of 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys, if you put 60 boys, right? So 60 boys can do that work, 2/3 work, working 9 hours in those days. What will be those number of days required? So in those days they can complete the that work. How much? 2/3 of the work, working 9 hours. Means here the capacity of both the groups has become same now. So this point you have to understand. Directly if you go to put the equation and if you go to compare, the comparison is not possible here. Because here the capacity of these three is different here. So we cannot compare. And whatever time is required here, that is the time required for these groups it is. It is not the time required for only 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys. So this point you have to remember. So like this. Now I can put the equation very easily. For 65 boys, right, to do full one work, working 8 hours, how many days are required? 81 days are required. And now I can ask for it is how many boys? 60 boys to do 2/3 of the work, working 9 hours, how many days are required? So now I can compare very easily here. For 65 boys, 81 days are required. Therefore, how many days it will take, right? How many days it will take for 60 boys, more or less? I can judge very easily. But if you go to compare here directly, comparison is not possible. You cannot judge correctly whether more days or less days are required. Yeah. So for this, you need to convert these groups in form of boys like that. You have to find out the capacity of these two groups in form of what it is? Boys. And for that, you need to understand this ratio. Yeah. So I hope this is clear to you all. Right. So let's proceed with the solution. So here we write we know it is. We know what? First you write this ratio, right? It is one man equal to how many boys? 3 boys. Then one woman equal to these 2 boys, and it is one boy equal to this one boy. So I have written the capacity of doing the work. Now by taking into consideration these ratios, we have to find out the capacity of both the groups, right? This group and this group in form of what it is boys. So only you have to find out the capacity of men and women in form of it is boys. No need to convert boys into boys. So let's find first in place of it is 5 men, how many boys we have to employ. For that we have to use the first ratio. So how equation you have to put? It is for how many? 1 man. If 1 man is equal to it is 3 boys. So what I want, it is 5 men. 5 men equal to what is how many boys. So it is 5 into 3. 5 into 3 is divided by 1. So equal to, you can write it is how much? 15. Is in place of 5 men we have to employ how many boys? 15 boys. So here you write that is 5 men. 5 men equal to how many? It is 15 boys. Like that. In place of 10 women, how many boys we have to employ? That we have to calculate. For that we have to use this second ratio. Same in the same manner we have to put the equation. So for this 1 woman, if 1 woman is equal to how many boys? 2 boys. So what I want, it is 10 woman. 10 woman equal to it is how many boys? So it is 10 into 2. 10 into 2 is divided by what it is? 1. So it comes to how many? 20 boys. So here you write 10 women equal to how many? 20 boys. And no need to convert boys into boys. So in place of 1 boy we have to put 1 boy. So in place of 30 boys we have to put 30 boys only, right? So already there are 30 boys working. So now you find out the capacity of 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys in form of what it is? Boys. So for that you calculate the total boys. So total boys will be, in place of 5 men we have to employ 15 boys. In place of 10 women we have to put 20 boys. And in place of these 30 boys we have to put 30 boys. So like that, in all we have to put how many? 65 boys. Means if you don't want to employ 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys, in that place you have to employ how many? 65 boys. Means 65 boys can do a piece of work in 81 days, working how many? 8 hours a day. That is the mean. Yeah. Now in the same manner, now we have to find out the capacity of 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys in form of what it is? The boys. So let's calculate, right? It is how many? For again you have to use, in place of 10 men, you have to find how many boys you have to employ. So for that you have to use this first ratio. So equation is, for it is 1 man. If 1 man equal to it is how many? 3 boys. 3 boys. So you have to find, for it is 10 men. 10 men are equal to this how many boys? So it is 10 into 3. 10 into it is 3 is divided by this what? 1. So equal to get how much it is? 30 boys. So in place of 10 men we have to employ how many boys? 30 boys. Like that, in place of 10 women, how many boys we have to employ? That we have to calculate. For that we have to use the second ratio. So equation will be this, for it is 1 woman. If 1 woman is equal to how many boys? It is 2 boys. So we have to calculate, for it is 10 women equal to how many boys? So how many boys? It is 10 into 2. 10 into 2 is divided by 1 is equal to get how many? It is 20 boys. So in place of this 10 women we have to employ is 20 boys, and already 10 boys are there, so in place of 10 boys we have to employ 10 boys only. So here now we find out the total boys. So total boys equal to, in place of 10 men we have to employ 30 boys, in place of 10 women we have to employ 20 boys, and in place of 10 boys we have to employ 10 boys. So like that we have to employ totally how many boys? 60 boys. So if you don't want to employ 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys, so in that place we have to employ 60 boys like this. And now we have to put the equation. Now we can put the equation here. So how equation you have to put? So 5 men, 10 women and 30 boys means how many boys it is? 65 boys. So equation will be, it is for 65 boys, for 65 boys to do one working, how many hours? 8 hours. How many days are required? 81 days are required, right? This is given to us, and we have to calculate for how many? 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys. So 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys means how many boys we have calculated? 60. So you have to ask for these 60 boys. For 60 boys to do how much? Only two-third of the working 1 hour overtime. 1 hour overtime is 1 hour extra. Means earlier group is to work 8 hours. Now if this group work for this 9 hours, how many days are required, that we have to calculate. Understood? So now we can compare very easily. So now you compare one by one. So first compare boys with the days and see whether number of boys are in direct or inverse. So let's compare. For 65 boys, how many days are required? 81 days are required. So how many days it will take for these 60 boys? More or less, right? So for 60 boys, how many days it will take to do the work? Definitely it will take more days, because your number of boys are less here. So as compared to 65 boys, 60 boys are less here. So as the number of boys to do the work decreases, number of days required to do the work increases. So here number of boys have decreased, number of days required are increasing. So one is decreasing, another one is increasing. That means number of boys are said to be in a inverse proportion. So here below that you put number 1 and write the number of boys is in inverse proportion. Yeah. Then you have to compare the work, right? To complete full one work, it takes how many days? 81 days. So to do only 2/3 of this work, right? Only 2/3. 2/3 of this work is less than one work. So 2/3 is 1. If you divide this 2 by 3, we get 0.6666. Means 0.66 is less than 1. Means this work is less than one work, or not? So to do less work, to do 2/3 of the work, how many days it will take? More or less, right? So if work is less, number of days required will be less, and if work is more, number of days required to do the work will be more. So here the work has decreased from 1 to 2/3, and due to decrease in work, the number of days required to do the work also decreasing. So here both are decreasing, right? So when both are increasing or when both are decreasing, it is said to be direct proportion. Means here the work is in direct proportion. So here you put number 2 and write the work is in direct proportion. Yeah. And finally you have to compare the hours, right? See whether they are in direct or inverse. So if they work 8 hours daily, to complete that work it takes how many days? 81 days. So instead of working 8 hours, if they work 9 hours daily, so how many days it will take to do the work? More or less? So definitely it will take less days, because here they are working more hours. So if you work for more hours, number of days required to do the work will be less only. So here number of hours have increased from 8 to 9, and due to that number of days required are decreasing. So one is increasing, another one is decreasing. So number of hours are said to be in a inverse proportion. So here you write, put number 3 and write the hours is in inverse proportion. Yeah. So like this, now you have to put the proportion. Yeah. So let's put the proportion here, right? So first you write the ratio of boys. So ratio of boys is in what it is? Inverse proportion. So how to write the ratio of these boys? If it is inverse, it is written as 60 is to 65. So it is 60 is to it is 65. Then work is in direct. Work is in direct. So it is written as 1 is to 2/3. Ratio will be it is 1 is to it is 2/3. Then hours is in inverse. So how you have to write the ratio of hours? 9 is to 8. 9 is to it is 8. And all these three ratios you have to write equal to the last ratio as 81 is to x. 81 is to what it is? X. And to find out this x value, so you have to use the rule of this proportion. What the rule says? In proportion, the product of extremes is equal to the product of means. So multiply these extremes on one side and means on another side. So multiply, right? So my extremes are 60, 1, 9 and x. So it is 60 into it is 1 into 9 into x equal to, my means are, it is 65 into it is 2/3 into 8 into it is 81. Now what I want x value, bring this x outside, right? Means this x is equal to this remains as it is 65, right? Into it is 2/3 into it is 8 into it is 81 into transfer these values equal to that side, so all this multiplication becomes division. Means divided by 60 means it is what? Multiply by 1 by 60 into it is 1 divided by 9. Divided by 9 means multiply by 1 by 9. And simplify this. So x is equal to, right? So these 9 ones are 9 9s are it is 81. Then it is 3 ones are it is 3 3s are, then it is 3 ones are it is 3 2s are, 5 4s are, 5 ones are 5 3s are, 4 ones are it is 4 2s are. So 2 into 2 it is 4, 4 into 13, so you get 52 days, right? Means how many days are required? 52 days are required. Means these are the days required for how many boys? It is 60 boys, and 60 boys means what it is? 60 boys means 10 man 10 women 10 boys, and 65 boys means it is what? 5 man 10 women 30 boys. Means whatever time is required for 60 boys, same time is required for what? It is 10 man 10 women 10 boys. Means it is 10 men, 10 women and 10 boys can do 2/3 of the work, working 1 hour extra in how many days? 52 days. Yeah. So this problem is also very important from the point of your examination, because frequently they have asked this question in the exam for 7 or 8 marks. Yeah. So I hope this is clear to you all. This sum as well as the topic, it is proportion. Means here this topic proportion is over, or ratio and proportion, that is the second module, is completed over here, right? So I conclude this topic ratio and proportion here, and in the next class or in the next video, so I will come with the next topic, right, or next module, that is commission and discount. Thank you.